Welcome to the Home Designer Design Contest webinar. Today we're doing something a little bit special, and we will be using the winner of the Treehouse contest as the inspiration for today's webinar. My name is Emily and I will be presenting for you today. We also have Stephanie with us, so if you have any questions throughout today's webinar, feel free to chat those into Stephanie and she'll be responding to you. I wanted to congratulate Allison for winning the design contest for the Treehouse Playhouse design. We run a design contest through our Facebook page. So she won a free hour of personal training, a Chief Architect t-shirt, water bottle, and a USB key. So thank you so much for submitting, Allison, and everybody else who submitted. It's so wonderful seeing the designs that everybody creates. So we're going to focus on her treehouse today. Before we get going, I wanted to cover the GoToMeeting controls. So first is the audio setup. You're able to control whether you use the mic and speakers or a telephone. The mic and speakers is the standard, so if you're not able to hear me correctly, select that audio setup and that will help adjust the levels throughout the GoToMeeting system. I have everybody muted today, so you will not need a mic, so there's no feedback. And if you want to use a telephone, just select that radial and a phone number will appear at the bottom for you. So in that case, there might be charges for that phone call. If you don't see this larger area, it will minimize to a little toolbar here. So select the orange arrow button to restore this larger area to control your audio and ask any questions. So underneath that audio is the questions area. Just type that into the bottom, select send, and your question and Stephanie's answer will show in a log there for you. We offer two different product lines. Allison used our Chief Architect Premier version for her design. I'm going to be using one of the Home Designer programs that's geared more for the DIY market. So we'll be using the Home Designer Professional in today's webinar. And I'm going to go through kind of the main treehouse area and the little playhouse as well. We'll draw out our walls and dimension. I'll also drop in a few windows in the door and then get into a shed dormer, get into our deck tools, and we'll also do this truss type of design in the front here with our support posts. And we're going to change our terrain elevation, and then I'll also show you how to just quickly drop in stairs. And again, if you have any questions, chat those into Stephanie. And let's get going in Home Designer Pro. So across the top is our default toolbar. When I select a wall, like our straight wall tool, all of my child options will show up over on the right hand side. I have my parent-child toolbar option selected. So let's get drawing here. Just going to use my exterior wall today. We're not going to work on the interior at all. And I'm going to zoom into my grid a bit. Just with my scroll wheel, you can zoom in and out. So with my wall, I'll click and drag, and my temporary dimensions will pop up for me. So we can use these temporary dimensions and get it to about 20 feet. We can also click and drag, and once we've placed the wall, I'm going to select that, bring my cursor over the dimension, single click again, and then we can just type in our dimension accurately. You'll also notice that we have some controls here, so I want to make sure that the end, or the start here actually, is locked and that our end moves. So I'll hit enter and that will update for us. So you can use those temporary dimensions pretty quickly. And we're just going to do a box here. Now that we have connected all of the walls, a living area has been defined, and the dashed green line represents our roof planes. So with all of our programs, it will automatically drop on a hip roof. I'm going to select the bottom wall, hold down Control on my keyboard, and select the top wall. And I'm going to change those walls to gable walls. So that will alter my roof. And we have a very quick tool. Once you've selected an object, down at the bottom here, we'll have a new toolbar that just applies to those selected objects. One of the options is Change to Gable Wall, and that will modify our dashed green line, so we know that that has updated our roof design. Now let's get into a 3D view and see what's been created. So I'll use my perspective view tool, our camera up top here, and we'll get into a full overview. So that will bring it into a 3D perspective. And I'm using my move camera with mouse tool. I like this, the first one, the orbit camera, the best. To orbit around, you can also hold down your scroll wheel, and that will change the cursor to a hand, which pans the entire plan there. So let's bring up Allison's design here just for reference. She has a different siding on here than what my default siding has placed. So let's talk about the defaults a little bit and change our siding on our structure. Under our Edit tool, we'll find our default settings. So this will enable you to change the walls or cabinets or doors throughout the entire plan on a consistent basis. So under the wall option, I'm going to just open up the exterior interior wall by double clicking on that option. And now underneath the Define tool, we can get into the specifics of this wall. So the Home Designer Architectural, Home Designer Pro, and the Chief Architect programs enable this customization. Otherwise, you can change it just with the Material Painter tool. But this way I can structurally change our siding and get into the library material. That will bring up where we already are underneath the core catalog. I'll just bring it up top here. So we have our Home Designer core catalog, materials, and we're going to get into that siding. So once you select a folder, you can preview all of the different options there. This one looks pretty good, so I'll select that and apply that to our siding material. And I'll keep all of the other thicknesses the same. Alright, so now that we're done here, it will apply that to the structure that's already been built with the default walls. I've already set up some differences in my doors and windows for my defaults. So they already have a specific color on the trim, the casing, and lights and so forth. So we can just single click and drop those into place. So you can set up your defaults before you begin in your design if you'd like to. Alright, so now I'm going to drop in our door. It's just a hinge door. If you would like to just change an object individually and not across the entire plan, you can select that object individually, and then down in your editing toolbar select that open object. You can change your door style, the type, and I'm just going to change our width to 60 inches. So that will automatically change that to a double door for us. And in our editing toolbar, while that's still selected, I have a center object tool. I'll single click on that and single click on that room, and it will center everything up for us. Alright, back to Allison's picture here for reference. Looks like she has kind of a semicircle window up top here. Might be two windows molded together. So let's get into customizing our windows a little bit more. So I'll get back into my standard window tool and just bring my cursor onto the upper parts and single click. I'm going to select that window and let's just open that up and make some changes. We'll want to change that to a fixed glass. So in this drop down you have quite a few different options. And let's change the width to maybe 54, and we'll change that height to 45. We have a lights tab, so you can add additional lights in here if you'd like to. So across the top you'll have many different tabs that you can control this window. Under our arch tab, I'll get into a broken arch and change the height maybe to 25. So now we have a preview of the changes there. And let's do a left arch. Let's maybe make that a little bit more. As I increase this number, our preview will update for us, so you'll notice how that is modified. Alright, that looks pretty good, so we'll select OK. I'm just going to copy that and move it over a little bit. Open that one, and we're going to change that to a right. I think they're overlapping a little bit. Let me bring that over and just bump it up. And you'll also notice through the window we can see an unfinished ceiling. So within this structure we have a flat ceiling, and we're looking into our attic space. So let's get into two different views here. I want to tile vertically. So under window you'll see that we have a tile vertically option and Shift F6 as a shortcut. So let's modify our ceiling a little bit. I'm just going to single click in our room, open that up for specification, and underneath our structure tab we can change the height. So if this was a playhouse for a smaller child, you wanted it to be a bit smaller ceiling instead of kind of a live-in area, you can modify your ceiling heights, your floor heights, all of the structural right in this area. And then for our ceiling, we can just uncheck ceiling over this room. And now we'll see our finished drywall, and that will automatically follow the pitch of our roof planes. And you'll also notice in our 2D view, we don't see those windows on our wall here. We need to go up to our attic. So the number up top here represents the floor we're on. So we're on floor 1. If we go up, we'll see A for attic. And I'm going to multi-select just by holding down Control on my keyboard again, and then center those. We have snap options that you can control, and I have those turned on so it just snaps to the center. Alright, so now that we have our windows in place, I'm going to go back down to my first floor where my roof planes are, and let's talk about this dormer. I'm going to zoom out a little bit with my scroll wheel, and with our dormer options, those are right under the roof tool. So select that roof option, and we have a auto floating dormer. I'm going to double click on the auto floating dormer so we can change the type of dormer that we automatically place on here. So I'm going to change this to a shed, and I'll keep the 3 and 12 pitch, but for the height I want that to be a bit smaller, so we'll do 40 inches on that. So a couple different controls in here. Bringing up the defaults makes everything pretty easy for you as well. Alright, so we'll select OK, bring our cursor onto the wall, single click, and drop that into place. And then once that's placed, we can modify that a bit and change the dimensions, the positioning, and so forth. Alright, let me just rotate around a little bit here. And let's get on to our deck design. So we'll zoom out a little bit and pan up and get into our deck tools. So I'll just use our straight deck tool. Just click and drag like our walls. And I'll bring that out to about 6 feet. So our railings are floating here until we connect all of our walls. So once they're connected, our deck framing will be created. And I'll single click on that railing, and let's dimension these around as well to 6 feet, and the front as well. Alright, so now that we have that created, I'm going to get into our terrain tool so we can build our stairs. And within our terrain drop-down, we'll just create the terrain perimeter. So that will automatically drop on a rectangular perimeter here that we can then modify. And I'll just drag that out a little bit here. While that's still selected, let's open that up and change our elevation. So it will automatically calculate the elevation, so it's 12 and 5/8 inches from our finished floor. So I'm going to change that and drop it way down to about 110. So I'll select OK, and it will automatically do our supports here. And you'll also know that there's a cutout underneath our structure. So let's make sure that we don't have a cutout, which is pretty easy. Just open up that terrain again and single click on Hide Terrain Intersection by Building. And there we go. So since Allison's design didn't have these same supports, she kind of has more of a tree inspired foundation. Let's just delete those for now, and we'll work on that a little bit later. So I'm going to single click in that room and open up our deck room. Underneath the deck option, we'll want to make sure that the automatic deck framing is still selected because we want to frame our deck with the joists and planking and so forth. Underneath the deck, post, and footing, I'll just uncheck that portion and I get rid of those. So now we have a beautiful floating design, and we're going to work down to that foundation level here. I'm going to move over just a little bit. Maybe I'll move my camera in my floor plan and move out a bit. So in our floor reference up here, we cannot go down to the foundation level. We haven't built it yet. So let's get into our floor tools and build our foundation. Since this is not a typical foundation, I'm just going to kind of select OK, and then we're going to make a new blank plan for the foundation. I don't want anything built. I want to just have the second foundation level created. Alright, so nothing's been built. We have just kind of a blank plan here. So in order to reference our structure above, I'll just go up to our tools and our reference floors. And I turned off our grid here, so let me turn that back on. So now we are referencing the floor above, and we can see where everything is positioned. So I'm not quite sure how to build a foundation correctly with trees, but let me just get into our post tool so we can just put some posts in here, and you can change the dimensions of these so you can make them a bit larger depending on the stumps that you have. So I'm just going to single click and drop that in. It's going to bring up a question. The layer footing post is not being displayed. So yes, I do want this to be displayed. This brings up a good point on our layers. There are different options when it comes to visualizing. So in our floor plan, we can see everything. In our 3D plan, we can see the footing base here, but not the post. So let's get into our layers, display options up top here. And I'm going to get into my framing area. So just hit F on the keyboard to get to your F area. So we're going to get into our framing And there's a couple different options here. So let me scroll through. And we'll want to show, we are showing the floor framing. We'll want to show our trusses in a little bit here because I'm going to be doing those in a little bit. So I think we're okay with our floor plan. Now I'm going to select our 3D view and open that. And same thing, we'll do the truss because we're going to do that a little bit later. And we'll want our the floor option so we can see the post. Alright, so then we can just drop in a few more here. And I'm not going to be too accurate. I'll let the professionals be accurate with this type of a foundation with trees. But you can also get into each individual post option and change the diameter right here. You can also change the type and so forth. So you can get in there and modify that on an individual basis if you wanted to. Alright, so next we're going to create the second little building here. And since this is on a different level, we're going to build that on our foundation level, different elevation. So we'll build that here. I'm not going to get into too much detail, just wanted to show you how you can build structures on different levels here. So we'll just kind of make this an angled building here. And we're going to make that a gable as well. And let's just drop in a doorway. So back to our door tool, we'll do a doorway in the front and maybe a pass-through tool on either side. So pretty quick and easy to modify and add additional buildings to your design. So now let's get back up to our first floor, and I'm going to build some stairs. So let me just zoom out a little bit here so you can see in our 3D view as well. Since we have our terrain created, I'm just going to use our click stair. So this will know where to connect because it automatically connects to the landscape below, so the terrain. So pretty quick and easy, one click and we have our stairs. And I think the next portion and the last portion I'm going to cover is bringing our roof planes out and building a kind of a timber frame truss visual here. Looks like Allison may have used our 3D CAD tools in our Professional Chief Architect program to get pretty custom here, or our custom library that's available for that program as well. But I'm going to just do our truss option, which is very quick and easy. So let's close out of here and get into that tool, which is right underneath our roof framing tools. I'm going to select that roof truss and just bring it in here, click and drag. And you know what, let's bring out the roof a little bit and then drop that in. So with Home Designer Pro and above, we can modify each individual roof plane. So I'll drag those out, and it's going to turn off my automatic rebuild roof. So I'll bring that out. And then I'll get back into that truss tool and build that. And then we'll put some posts on here for some support. And you know what, let's double click on that post tool. I'm going to change my framing for that post under that post tab. We'll just bring that back down to the typical 3.5. And again, you can change if you wanted just the square, rectangular, you could check the lumber option. Alright, so now let's place that in here. and you'll notice that it goes all the way down to our landscape. So let's select it, open that for specification, and I want to change our bottom height to 0. Select OK, and then in our 3D view I'll just delete our footing. So that's why I like to work in a couple different views so I can see how everything is being applied. Alright, so I'll just copy our post here. So we have some different copy tools down at the bottom. I'll just use my copy and paste and then select the Reflect About object. Bring my cursor onto our plan here. We're going to reflect it over that center roof plane. And there we go. So pretty quick and easy. And then let's just apply a different material here. I'll just get into my core catalog again and into our materials, and I'll select a different brown color, and you'll notice that my cursor is a roller, so it's going to blend this material with the texture of the wood. So single click and apply the material. And let's see, let's do one more. Let's drop in a backdrop. Have a little bit more treed area here. And there we are. So Allison got quite a bit more in depth with her Treehouse. So within our Chief Architect programs, we do offer a much larger library, so you can find additional tree options and playground accessories, treehouse accessories, and so forth. So I just want to bring you onto our website here really quick to show you the two different websites we have, chiefarchitect.com. So this is for the professional Chief Architect software, and you can download a free trial version, work within the software. Underneath User Center, you can also check out our samples gallery and view different plan sets, videos, and you can actually work with some of these plans as well if you have the Chief Architect X5 and so forth. We also have a different website, homedesignersoftware.com, and this is our home designer software for the DIY market. We do offer a free trial version for the Home Designer Professional, so you can download that and work within the software. And just to give you some more information, underneath the User Center we do have training videos, additional webinars, and then we have our forums. So we have Chief Talk for the professionals and Home Talk for the Home Designer program. On our user forum, we have our next design contest posted, and the next design contest is for basement spaces. So if you're interested in participating in our design contests, just check out our user forums for all of the details and what you can win for these. And we do run these through our Facebook page. So check out our Facebook page. We have a few basement space submissions already. So vote for your favorites and be a part of our contest there. Let me get back into one area here. And with our software, all of the programs, whether it's a new purchase or an upgrade, we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee to make sure that it's the right program for you, the right fit for your design needs. We do offer upgrades, so if you do start with a program and need something a bit more robust, we do have upgrade discounts, so contact our sales department if you have any questions about that. Also check out our free trial versions to see the additional features that you can receive in the higher end programs. If you have any additional questions, Stephanie will be on for a few more minutes here. Just ask those in the bottom area. If you don't see this area, select the orange arrow button to restore it, and then she'll be answering those questions here for you. Or give us a call. We're here Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. So call us with any questions that you have and check out our next design contest. Thanks so much for attending and have a wonderful day.